What was I going to say? Oh, yeah, Lockdown's a little lacking on the side of Team Spirit right now, so addressing that wouldn't be bad. Something like a Bane support or the Rasta you mentioned earlier, obviously two that come to mind.
I mean, the Earth Spirits look great if they have a ability to play Earth Spirit, but they're going to get Tiny instead, which is lockdown control. Gives them a way to kind of start a fight as well. That isn't just like, dependent on this Brewmaster split, which has a long cooldown.
Don't know how much I love Tiny. I don't know. I feel like the hero's been way overvalued in this region so far from the limited sample size I've seen today. But it is a hero, like you said, that's kind of lane centric or like focused on winning the lanes. And they already have like this momentum game plan going with the troll. And it's like a hero that reliably kind of gets what it gets. So you're setting up for a last pick that will be able to kind of solidify this momentum you're trying to carry from the laning stage. At this point, EPG, I think, just has to make sure they pick heroes that are not vulnerable to just losing all their lanes, because Anti-Mage is a hero that even when he wins his lane will not really be participating in the game all that much with that early start. So he's either going to have that early good start where he doesn't turn it into fighting, or he has a weak start where you're basically making space for him. So Sand King, I would say one of the better offlaners against Troll overall, just because you're purely magical damage for the most part against the Whirling Axes and stuff. But I don't know how much I like this so far from EPG. How does Burrow Strike work with Grimstroke? It's a targeted spell, so I'd assume you do it twice.
Yeah, it stuns. It just stuns both, I think, but he still just goes to the first target.
He only goes to the first target. You don't like zip zap to the second target.
I'm actually now that you mention that, I'm honestly not 100% sure.
But... Okay, I'm just curious because usually it like issues a second cast on like the other hero, so never seen it with. There's a lot of weird interactions with Grimstroke.
Yeah, no, we knew that coming into it. That's why I was excited for him to be competitive, because there's just some where you're just like, yeah, how does this work? Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, Sunder and Swap are two of the funnier ones.
Yeah, there are some funky ones, exactly like that. So I can't confirm, but I'm pretty sure it does stun both. Just a matter of does he do the zip zap as you said or not? I'm not sure. But there is some synergy there with the Sven Hammer as well. Double Mana Void could potentially be huge on top of that. So. They got some
decent. They're setting up a Huskar pick here for Team Spirit. I think they are forcing EPG to ban Huskar by banning this Lina. I think that's kind of the intention here.
EPG and their final ban. So you mentioned that and would like to be the Huskar then if that's the case, but the ones that come.
Huskar's definitely good. I mean, I think they'll very much be looking at like the lane matchup. If there's a hero you can just straight up lane counter your opposing team's mid with, you often run with that just because you can just win the game off of winning the lane, even if it doesn't necessarily fit your draft in the perfect way.
Could they take Huskar for themselves? Just throw that out there.
Maybe. It's a little like desynergistic with Anti-Mage because like you want to fight a lot, but at the same time you're also meant to make space for Anti-Mage, so it's kind of a weird spot like this patch with Anti-Mage. Like a lot of mid-game centric meta, despite the fact that Anti-Mage has been a popular hero. So having the ability to fight with 4 heroes is super important. So based on that OD ban, I wouldn't be surprised if they... so this is their preemptive way of dealing with the Huskar. Last time the Huskar was picked, they responded with Monkey King. So we saw how hard it was for the Huskar to actually fight into the Monkey King. The lane went well. Like the lane went well for the Huskar. But the fights themselves were very difficult to take. But this time around, they have the Brewmaster, so they have like better team fight than they did the previous game on Team Spirit. So I wouldn't be surprised if they were willing to pick it again.
Oh, what have we here?
That's a Rubik.
Yeah, okay. I was about to say they're going to do like a tiny core and Brewmaster core, but no, they're doing a.
And he has the Arcana. Yes.
Oh right. Okay. I mean, I don't know if it's meant to be a counter to the Monkey King. I mean, I'm sure you're not going to lose to Monkey King mid, but I don't really feel like you dumpster him or anything.
He purely relies on right-clicking, so Fade Bolt will be quite powerful. I'm not 100% sure on the matchup, but I would have to give it like at least 60-40 to Rubik, for sure.
And well, there's some good spells to still, like the Anti-Mage Blink early on for roaming around. One of the best. The Warcry of Sven, and we talked about how good a skill that can be, so it does feel like a good Rubik game.
I think this is a game where he wants an Ags, honestly, because there's just so much to steal consistently in these fights that he could definitely benefit off of that 2-second cooldown, if anything. So, I like seeing the Rubik. If anything, like I said, the fact that he has the Arcana, I'm just excited for that.
It gives him some pick off too. It's it's so funny to think of like matchups against anti-mage nowadays, just because they're so different based on the spell shield. Rubik's still one of the better ones, just because you do have the instant disable that he can't react to. If you like are coming from smoke or with a blink dagger. So I feel like these odds are glitched, because that's the exact odds we saw last time. So not 100% sure if these are not being updated or what's going on here.
Well, if anything, they would be updated on the site, which you can find at es.bet. You can check it out. Place your wagers in if you like set odds. Again, you can take advantage of the insurance going on as well with the WePlay Winter Madness event. And what's our final game of the day? So be sure to get those
That's
in.
a perfect segue, by the way. Perfect segue.
See, now you ruined it, though, by saying that. So we had something going here.
Sorry.
You're still learning. It's okay.
I'm that guy in this case. So what do you think, GoDz? What's your opinion on this one?
Look, I want to, I see those odds. Spirits favor. Is that right? They seem like the better team. Even losing game one, they felt like the better team. But I would slightly lean towards Elements with this draft. I don't feel like the AM's going to have that rough of a time. I don't think the troll alone is going to be a solution to them. And this mid Rubik, I've seen it picked and played quite a bit, but I feel like it's also lost a lot more than it's won. I feel like it's one of those heroes that these mid players just want to play, but actually isn't as amazing in practice.
Yeah.
Any addition from you there, Breaky, before I give the obvious answers to the correct answer? Because I'm just 100% prediction right here.
Okay, that's where you're going. I was like, before you just take over, I was like, all right, cool, solo cast for BST. I'm good with that. No, I just like the fact that we get to see an Arcana Rubik. I do agree that as far as its success rate, maybe it seems like it is overhyped a little bit, but going off of your insight in the matchup against Monkey King, there's maybe 60-40, that Fade Bolt spam could be good, so I like Team Spirit. I did think that they were the better team coming into it as well.
Yeah, I think both drafts are pretty even, but I think that Troll Warlord is actually really hard to play against right now. I think he just makes the ease of execution for his team just on a whole nother level compared to the other team. So I'm going to go based on the sloppiness of this series, meaning not like both teams are playing bad by any means. It's just like it is not flawless play. I'm going to go with the team that ease of execution here. I'm going to go with Team Spirit. We'll see how it goes, though.
Top bounty rune just left open completely, but it's because they were kind of zoning them out, I suppose. What is going on right now? There's 3 heroes for Spirit at the bottom.
They're blocking the creeps.
What?
Why? What am I missing here?
This actually works, too. That's just kind of crazy. I didn't even think about that. But, yeah, you can interact with them with spells. And no one's here. This is so odd. Sand King's TPing in, but interesting.
Maybe they just wanted to make sure the lane didn't double up against them when they blocked it into the tower. Like, that was their plan. They knew that EPG was swapping lanes, so they wanted to have all the creeps die as quickly as possible, which, I mean, that's just weird. I mean, it makes sense when you look at it, but, I mean, the things that these people come up with is always funny.
Lane manipulation is every patch. Eventually something starts kicking in, and then things start becoming the norm, and, finally they made that change to where, obviously, as you saw right there, you can aggro the creep wave, but you can still manipulate it. You can block it, you can use slow, so you took advantage. Right now, the Sand King obviously being bullied quite a bit. In fact, he might die here. Rolling axes. A couple more auto attacks. The Sandstorm will save him, but very close call.
Yeah, but this is good for them because he's forced a Sandstorm underneath his own tower, and the lane's actually pushing towards them on Team Spirit. So Mitch is going to have a tough time getting much XP here as the lane pushes back out. And he has no pull camp either. At least based on the minimap.
Yeah. Top lane, TP in from Armament. We see him up there now and trying to be useful, just simply applying auto attacks, helping to keep Brewmaster alive, and Sven can't commit further. So we'll do just that at least. You also look at the middle lane. 9 versus Boranisha. Monkey King versus Rubik. And that Fade Bolt spam continuing. Mitigating set damage on Monkey King, making it that much more difficult to effectively get set last hits in. And how is that going right now? It's Rubik 12-1, Monkey King 11-0. So it is very close. Still, this early part.
Just an even trade. I would say that Rubik just has kill potential on Monkey King, so that's what he's got to be careful of. Like once Rubik gets higher levels and maybe a rotation from a support, that's where, as long as the Monkey King avoids dying in those situations, it's good for them. But Swift ending with the double kill top, I mean, that is not what you want to be doing for an anti-mage in this game.
Sven wasn't even there either. He was busy committing suicide to get back, but they didn't even need him. It's just a Grimstroke with that Inkswell. wasn't more than enough to get a double kill setup for Anti-Mage. That is not good news for Team Spirit as far as your start is concerned. Bottom lane, Mitch stunning through, Sandstorm's down, so again, he'll be fine. Taking some good pressure, though.
Yeah, I'm curious to see if this is something we'll see in other regions as well, like once the minor and major roll around, is the fact that both teams are just pretty much content with sacrificing their offlaner. They're doing like aggro tri-lanes and then having their offlaner have just a rough game. I'd say the game's rougher for the Brewmaster than it is for the Sand King here.
Yeah.
Overall, but it's been something that I would say in the last year leading up until 7.20 was never really a thing anymore, where carries would get absolute free farm and the offlaners would be sacrificed. But something we've seen the first and third game today of this series. So
no, it's been more of a trend. I absolutely agree with that. Again, casting a fair amount here since 7.20, and that's definitely been more of a trend with the tri-lanes especially. So I'm with you. It's again, we're ultimately going to have to wait to see the minor and specifically the major event, how those top dog teams are doing it. But right now, it has been going that way. So Rubik, 23-2 now. Again, he is off to that good start. Matter of how he progresses here as far as the item build. Like I said, an eventual Ags even could be good, but definitely has different directions to go first. Probably something like an Aether Lens, I would assume.
I do think God said it well earlier, though, that the reason why this is happening is that in dual lanes, like, so many little things can go against you, where, like, even just, like, a couple denies in the early levels can make it so that you lose the lane, and it snowballs incredibly fast. And if you lose, like, both side lanes in this patch, you actually just lose the game pretty much by 20 minutes. So I think what a lot of teams are doing is they're not willing to deal with this inconsistency of, you know, we don't want one deny or two denies to, like, decide the game for us, so we're just going to play a very stable way. And it's something that most teams will almost always prefer. And they are getting the potential gank on the mid lane with the DD Tiny, but Monkey King's actually just gonna gander away there.
And top lane, gandering away. Hestajoran's trying to do so. It's not gonna work.
Yeah, that's Finn Warcry is so good for diving towers. Like, the flat damage block so much better than the armor in the early stages as it used to be. The armor would obviously just reduce the percentage of the tower damage, but now the flat damage block just reduces negates all of the tower damage.
Survivor there doing a good job of controlling that top bounty rune and keeping himself alive as well, tossing away. So support timing, doing work. Got Spell Steal online for 9, and he takes over a Boundless Strike so far. Gonna use for his benefit, yeah, at least in this laning phase. Again, doesn't have that cast time to worry about, so stuff like that, pretty good. Wind up.
Yeah, they gave him 0.2
They
cast
did
time
make it
whatever,
a little bit,
you know?
yeah, that's true.
I mean, it's pretty negligible, but...
Fiverr, those are 3 heroes. And I ran into a death trap right there. Nine's rotating over. We'll take over the Stork of Fate, I believe that is, but it's a free kill on Tiny.
It's only level 1. I don't exactly know why he's stealing from a support hero, but either way, it's not a big deal. I think it's slightly pay to lose, but it's super cool to see, like, his cape change the color of whatever hero he steals from. That's always very cool.
Pay to lose. That's don't hear that often.
Well, I'm saying, like, you know, what if the enemy, like, they don't always check your items
gives that
and your skills
information,
and stuff.
yeah.
So, like, they like, oh, he has a Grimstroke ability. Like, you know, if I'm the guy who didn't actually see him steal it, I'm like, and I look at him real quick.
I hear you. No, that's an interesting way to look. I guess that is something, yes.
It's just like the Monkey King Arcana changing colors when you level your ulti.
Okay, yeah. Pain to lose. Top lane, Hestajoran. Cross shield helping initially. That Ink Swallow, yeah, as soon as it explodes. Easy kill for LeBron Dota. So, guess what? This top lane continues to go very well for EPG, and Anti-Mage at the forefront of that. His CS, 38-22, and I believe he has 3 kills to work with as well, at least.
Yeah, denies, since their gold is pretty easy to calculate. He basically has an extra 5 CS, so he's sitting at 44 CS right now in terms of gold. That is a massive amount, 7 minutes into the game.
And again, Brewmaster. Evasion helping a little bit. The Frost Shield this time might be the difference maker. Spell Shield, not sure what that was supposed to do there, but... or Counterspell even. I'll go back to farming. Of course, I'm guessing that Battle Fury is well in the works, though, already for the Anti-Mage. Start like this.
I like Sand King a lot against this Troll. We said that Troll kind of to set the pace of this game, and Sand King's really good for occupying Troll's lane, as you're seeing here. Like, yeah, he's down by a little bit in terms of levels and a lot on CS, but he single-handedly can occupy this lane and stop the Troll from pushing. which is a big deal because it allows the supports to play with the anti-mage and secure his farm even more and continue shutting down this Brewmaster. So I really like how the pace of this game's going for Elements. Obviously, they're up by 2K, but I think not only are they up by 2K, but they're also set up to have like the way their hero matchups work out to continue going well for them.
It kind of goes back.
I think
to
it's on
Rubik.
9 to do something.
Exactly, with the same idea. It really comes down to him. You know, what kind of impact are we going to see from this man, Rubik? Now, bottom lane Skitter, he's living because of his ultimate. Heals up a bit, but as soon as that wears off, you got to figure he's going down. The Frost Shield not going to be enough. Sven's there for the final swing of that big sword of his to finish the job.
I think he could have switched to range to get that kill, but he stayed in melee and was forced to chase after. Team Spear with 4.2 on the odds. Wow.
Yeah, they're behind.
420.
Head over.
That's a lot of odds there. That's actually, I mean, I understand they're down by 3K, but that's pretty crazy at this point in the game to have it be those odds.
Yeah, pretty good lead for EPG, but yeah, it is still early on, as you pointed out. Again, you can head over to es.bet. If you'd like to put in those bets, 4-set wagers, the WePlay Winter Madness event throughout the next 4 days as well. This event is taking place, $100,000 prize pool on the line. Pretty crazy to think about that again. Online tournament, $100,000 these teams are playing for. One of these teams is going to be eliminated after this game. Right now, Team Spear finding themselves in that hole. Your TP's coming in bottom lane. Sven with the Monkey King. Trying to bait out with Mitch, but I think Spirit, I was going to say they caught something, but maybe not. Skitter's the one that's getting caught here instead. He's eventually going to fall here. Warcry goes up, mitigating any kind of damage coming out, and they just simply kill the troll. Rubik rotates in back to the top lane, has to Orion. The Manifold can explode him, eventually gets a kill back to the bottom lane. That Warcry still active, eventually wears off though. They're going to kill Sand King, leap back in from Borninja, but that'll be the end of it. Favoring EPG.
I know a fellow you should talk to.
Yeah, Troll's supposed to be the momentum setter for Team Spirit here. It died twice in the last minute or so. That's a massive deal. Like, certain deaths are much more impactful than others, and him dying in this game is crucial because the timing where he's supposed to have enough items in order to force objectives, you have to see how that lines up with the Anti-Mage Battle Fury, and he's going to have less and less time, if any, in order to force objectives before this Anti-Mage Battle Fury. And Anti-Mage is absolutely free farming. 65 CS, 38 denies.
Crazy. That Burrow Strike stolen. Let's talk about one of the many spells that Rubik can have this game. Already coming into play right there. Going to be off cooldown soon. Toss into the air. Bornisha having a man up. Heals up a little bit with the Jingle Mastery Max stacks, but the Fate Bolt comes through, and down goes Monkey King.
So much damage on Fate Bolt with the almost maxed out passive as well. Really important that you burst the target down, whoever gets ink swelled by Grimstroke.
Yeah.
That, like, if he doesn't get that Fade Bolt off in time, he probably gets a kill on Tiny, maybe even a double kill.
So going back to Nine's impact, I mean, that's obviously a bit right there. Already has that Burrow Strike, and he's going to go the Yules for his early build. Yules this game. Will that make sense for you?
It's nice against Monkey King, but it's not nearly as good as against Anti-Mage as it used to be, because you used to be able to like Yules him and then lift him and like have a bunch of time for your team to catch up. But if you Yules the Anti-Mage, it doesn't really offer catch because he can just counterspell right after you Yules him. So it makes sense against the Monkey King, like it removes the Jingu and removes the Sven Warcry, but I feel like I don't know if I can necessarily name a better item. I just feel like there's a lot of limitations because they are facing a serious anti-mage problem, and that Yule Scepter on their most farmed hero, which is the Rubik, obviously, does not address that anti-mage. So,
yeah, I mentioned like the Aether Lens maybe, but yeah, it's not a bad item. It's just
yeah, it's just like I don't know if there is anything they can buy that like addresses the anti-mage at this point in the game from the Rubik, but at this point, like, if you don't kill Anti-Mage like before Battle Fury Manta, I don't know how you win this game. Like, I feel like if he gets the Battle Fury +1 item, it's just he's gonna be so farmed by the time that you guys want to fight that it doesn't matter.
Well, Tiny getting some farm as well is pretty important right here. As I mean, well, technically Pyver's actually a support, but he is more farm than the Brewmaster, who was just struggling in that laning phase. So, gonna get at least face boots on Tiny, try to get him that blink as soon as possible. So that seems to be more of the places to answer too if you're the Steyr team. But long ways to go. You look bottom lane, Rubik, he has the Primal Spring, jumping around here in the trees. But Anti-Mage, he blinks away, not gonna push. Give them any chance. Because Sand King, he's working on the blink himself. 1,200 gold saved up currently, Rubik. He's going to jump in, gets Pearl Strike, as well as the Epicenter being channeled up on top of that. 9 has a Frost Shield on it, but it doesn't matter. Way too much magic damage. RMN also going to get caught. That Chain Frost bouncing around, but only doing so much damage. 9 seemed like he was trying to be a little creative there.
For lack of being, you know, polite here, I feel like he's been a big weakness for them this entire series. Even in the last game where they won, like it felt like he was giving the other team their only breath of hope to win. He just makes a lot of these very sloppy, very overly aggressive mid-game decisions where he just randomly feeds, and I don't think they have that luxury this game. He's their highest net worth. He's their playmaker. He has to make plays. Like, he has to. Anti-Mage already has a battle fury 13 minutes into the game. So they are on a timer, no doubt, and it is not going to get any better for them if this Anti-Mage just keeps farming. And EPG is just on this, like, when you're playing against Troll and you just can chill, that's, like, really easy to play the game.
Yeah.
And that's where they're at right now.
Mention that Battle Fury finish, Jesus. He's just going around now in the jungle. Even Stormhammer to set up, eventually killing some of the Ancients there. With him all that
Yeah,
far.
when I'm looking at these offlane heroes, I think Sand King is really good against Troll on paper. I hadn't really thought about it before this game, but the fact that he can like split push lanes and actually represent solo, or not solo kill potential, but kill potential on the Troll through his ultimate with the Epicenter stun combo. Just a lot of magical damage in the early game. It's just a nice hero against it. Like, a lot of these offlaners basically can't touch Troll. Like, these Beastmasters, they just can't do anything to them. So, nice to see the adjustment that after having a hero be so impactful this entire series.
Yeah, we saw Sand King specifically a lot after 7.2. Oh, of course, that Sandstorm and how buffed it was. But they toned it down a couple of patches here since then. And so he as a hero has died off overall a little bit. But you mentioned in this matchup, makes sense. And obviously, EPG has made the best of it, so good tower push from Team Spirit. But now trying to think of where else to go. They pop a smoke, heading towards the mid area. Not finding a target just yet, though. And gonna go for the tower, I suppose. Do objectives. That's what you're definitely built around.
Yeah, it's funny how the meta works. It just goes in a full circle. You have all these carries that become very popular. They're like carries that don't necessarily want to fight, but also do a lot of right-click damage, the anti-mages and the PAs. So you pick Troll in response, and then you realize Troll's really good, so you start, instead of picking Beastmaster-type offlaners, you start picking Sand Kings again. It's just the natural cycle of Dota. And another pick-off, that's just support, but any kill at this point while Anti-Mage is hitting creeps is good for them. Anti-Mage is even taking a tower in the top lane.
Oh, boy.
He's just not scared right now, and that's like a really good feeling to have.
Yeah, he's not going to get the tower kill, but you see what happens. They're distracted, they come up, and he just walks away. I believe he has his Yasha finish, just a matter of being delivered.
Yeah, Troll has to be setting the pace of the game right now. Like, this is a matchup, as we've mentioned time and time again, that Troll is the one forcing objectives, and most importantly, like, dictating the movements of the game. But instead, it's Team Spirit being forced to respond to whatever the Anti-Mage is doing on the map. So Anti-Mage is not only like free farming himself, but he's also limiting the efficiency of Team Spirit, which is exactly the losing recipe when you're playing against a hero like Anti-Mage.
Sand King hits the stun. They found Hester rotten, and again, it's been a difficult game for this Brewmaster, and that difficultness will continue as Chain Frost put out. Soulblind just on the Lich currently. He's not latched up to anything. A good spread, though, for the Radiant team to prevent the Chain Frost from doing too much in the end. That Shrine Pop Armaments living for now. Monkey King puts on the Wukong Cell. Living for now, turns into dead shortly after. 9, he stole the Stormhammer, but that's all he had. And he's trying to run away with that Frost Shield. Tiny tosses back in a hero, saving and Rubik, if anything. Skitter's still manning up right here, big time. Is he not going to get the ultimate off? He's not. Swift Ending pops the Mana Void before he can do a damn thing. So that's a dead Troll now for 40 seconds as well. It's just getting worse for Team Spirit. They're also going to lose Tiny. Nope, Tiny manages to somehow get away, but not the same story for Brew. Remember when he died 20 seconds ago? Yeah, he's dead again.
So many stuns against the core Brew at a slow start, so he has none of these like survivability items. Oftentimes in a game like this, you'll see the Brew go for like Vlad's Hood, Vanguard, stuff like this. Not even a Blink Dagger, just to ensure that he gets his ultimate off, but he fell behind in the landing stage. He's below 2 different support heroes in this game by 1,000 gold, and they have a lot of stuns, so he's basically never going to split this game. Man. He's not living the dream this game.
Those tips as well on the 9. That's rubbing salt in the wound right there, man.
Yeah, it's very incredible to me. Like this is just the perfect example of you know, when somebody asks why high MMR doesn't necessarily mean pro Dota. Like, in no way am I implying anything about like I would do better or something like this. You just watch this player who's like consistent. I think he's like always top 5 MMR, right?
Yeah, he's up
And
there.
it's just these are the type of decisions or like mistakes that don't get punished by pubs. You don't get punished by coordinated movements in pubs, and they're always catching him off guard, always catching him out of position with multiple heroes, and this is kind of stuff you just don't face unless you're in a coordinated environment. And I said at the start of this series that's what I felt like I saw in him last year, and it honestly doesn't feel like it's really improved. So it's something that he'll definitely have to figure out over time if he wants to have a more significant impact in the pro scene. Obviously, it's not like everything's on the line this tournament, but it's definitely been noticeable. I feel like we've all seen it, the mid-game decisions. But Anti-Mage, you know, if he wasn't a problem already, he's almost double the net worth of the next person in the game, and that next person is on his team. So,
I mean, you combine Rubik and Troll, the top 2 farm on the other side, it's just barely above Anti-Mage with his net worth. So
yeah,
another way to look
not
at
getting
it.
any better.
No.
Not getting any better.
Yeah, he's taking over this game, and yeah, Monkey King also happens to be doing pretty well. He got a very early Echo Saber. I think he might have had a BKB queued up after that, but either way, he is just having his own kind of freedom, as well as the Anti-Mage is also level 15, so that talent kicking in now. He's 19 minutes into the game at level 15. It's almost up there with Meepo status as far as the leveling goes. Gonna push tier 2, why not, as, Rubik, he just wanted to steal that blink, damn it. Well, he got it, and he gets away for now. Silence is going to connect. Blink in. He has a mana void. There's a Yules, but okay, and there's a blink away. So 9 will survive.
They're securing a tier 2. They are getting a trade on Team Spirit, but at this point, it's just not enough, I think. If they can somehow get a lucky kill with the Troll Bash against Anti-Mage, that might work out for them. But Anti-Mage already has the Manta done, so the net no longer does anything from his first ability. You can just Manta out of that. At any point, if they can, Elements, if they take Roche away, pretty much secure the victory. I'd say Team Spirit's like one way back in this game is forcing a fight somehow around the Roche pit, where Anti-Mage maybe blinks in and feeds.
I think the blink from Tiny is actually a pretty big thing as well. Not often at position 4 heroes going to have that much of an impact, but with the way this game has gone, that's one of those like, okay, you need that to even have any chance if you're Team Spirit. He had 1,500 gold when they just checked on him last there, so he's almost there at least. But
the sad reality is he's effectively a 3 position in this game.
Yeah.
And so it's just the result of what happened in the laning stage. I feel like what happened in the laning stage here is something you always have to try to remember. I forget about this myself sometimes. It's just how matchups play out as they go on. Like, if Anti-Mage gets ahead of Brewmaster, Brewmaster can't even walk up in lane. And that's a big deal, because when Anti-Mage got the lead, Brewmaster just kept feeding over and over again. But Sand King against Troll, even though he didn't have a good start, can still occupy the lane, which means Sand King is still a hero in this game, while Brewmaster, you pretty much feel like he hasn't existed this entire time. And that's a big part of it, like understanding like how lane matchups play out. And EPG, that's benefited them heavily. They're looking for some action here, looking to force the pace. The scan does catch, I believe, the Monkey King there. So Team Spirit knows they're up to something, and they're circling it on Sven, knowing that's where Team Spirit most likely is, but they're dodging with their own smoke.
Almost we're close to getting caught there with wrapping around. They're trying to go for a sneaky Roshan, and you know you're down by this much. That's what trying a little desperate play, yeah. They don't know what's happening unless DNZ checks this. It's gonna work. They have no clue.
Yeah, this is their only play. I think this is really good. I think either forcing a fight or forcing the Roche in general. I just know if you're Team Spirit, if you give them Roche, you lose this game.
Oh, look at this. DNZ's like, wait a second, where are they?
Face check.
Go in. Okay, found them, guys. Gonna be jump. Troll just focusing on the Roshan, though, picks up the Aegis. That's what they came for. So down goes Sven. Promise split was used. They lift up Anti-Mage.
Get the bash.
Gonna get a bash in there. Well, so far, he's just trying to worry about surviving, because out comes the Soulbind. Chain Frost in the backline is bouncing around. LeBron Dota is gonna fall because of it. Mitch in trouble. Mitch goes down on the Sand King, so Skitter is doing plenty of damage here. Swift ending. Also getting bashed up at least once right there. And yes, down goes Anti-Mage. Holy crap. It works out for Spirit.
There you go. I mean, you gotta identify your win condition. It's easier said than done from a casual's perspective. So like, it's easy to say, you know, watching the game what they need to do. another thing to identify it and do it, and that's exactly what Team Spirit has done here. Get that lucky bash on Anti-Mage. That's their way back in this game. So if they can turn this Aegis into some serious map control, maybe 1 or 2 more random feeds by Anti-Mage, they may get their way back into this game. Just got to be careful on the side of Anti-Mage. As long as he gets like his next survivability item up and doesn't let Troll just wail on him. He's got to be very selective with his Blink Dagger or Blink usage. Looks like they're trying to bait the Monkey King into thinking he's safe here.
Yeah.
But he will not take the bait.
They're pinging the area. They're suspicious. They know, but he is going to fall back, and that should be the end of chasing him. You see Brewmaster cutting through, but again, not going to catch up, so get away from Monkey King.
Yeah, they just want to secure this tower while Anti-Mage is not representing any split push pressure. When you're playing against Anti-Mage who's this farmed, what's primarily going to stop you from taking objectives is the fact that he's just killing objectives on the other side of the map before you do. And they end up getting the tower denied, but nonetheless they get the tower, and it looks like he is drawing a line to the upper half of the map. They want to start to shut down the Anti-Mage's farming area, and that's what they do need to do. But at this point, Anti-Mage is going to represent a significant threat on the top lane, and they will have to deal with that.
They're slowly making their way down here, though. Biver, of course, he has the blink now, so setting up. Looking for any kind of chance to open there. Rubik's pushing out middle lane, meanwhile. No, those are illusions. Never mind. Real Rubik's making his way towards the bottom. Wrapping around, where the rest of his team is actually heading towards top. They're going for the Anti-Mage. Talked about they're going to have to deal with him, and but you know how. It continues to go back to that as far as the second they start moving up here. He's just already blinking away, and he's going to farm elsewhere.
Yeah, it's just going to be cat and mouse. Wherever Troll goes, it'll dictate wherever Anti-Mage goes. Like, they'll just kind of reflect each other on each side of the map. I feel like Anti-Mage sees this looming threat top from Troll, and to make sure they don't lose map control, I think Anti-Mage has to start trying to threaten some lanes, because Troll's just walking down top lane. All the lanes are pushed in for Team Spirit here to a point where they're happy. The only thing they're concerned about is Anti-Mage killing their buildings before they kill theirs, and Anti-Mage is not threatening anything right now. So I would hope to see them take at least 1 or 2 towers here on the side of Team Spirit. That's the next logical step for their progression. He does have BKB on Troll. It's at base, though. Doesn't quite have it yet. Got to be careful of getting caught out before that gets delivered.
Yeah, that would be unfortunate. It's 4,000 net worth essentially, or so that you're missing out on right now, and of course, very important net worth. So they're going to push at least to tier 1, and no defense being put up, of course, from EPG. Just simply delaying it as much as they can with the fortification. But look at Rubik. He's going to get a lift off. Steals Sandstorm. Would have liked the Burrow Strike, I'm sure, but wasn't going to be able to steal at that point. So bottom lane is being pushed in, though, by the Radiant. And, yep, we're going to start seeing some reaction heading over there now. Chain Frost bouncing around as we do. Swift ending. Oh, this GoDz pulled him back in. He tried to blink initially. He gets used up now. Doing a good job of locking him down. Finally, he's able to blink away, but he's playing this very defensive throughout this whole fight. Skitter. Pop the ultimate. Got a bash proc, and that's a dead Anti-Mage once again. Double kill for Skitter. I mean, this game is absolutely swinging now.
Yep, one more feat, I would say, by Anti-Mage, and this game gets real rough, because at that point, Troll can have, like, blink MKB, and at no point will you be able to actually build items to live through that. And I love the new Troll, because, you know, he's always been known to just be a right-click, you know, takes no real skill to play kind of hero, and now you push that ult button, hands off the keyboard, bash, 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 you know.
Even less skill needed is what you're saying.
Cheer for the bash, and he's getting them. He's getting the crucial bashes.
Yeah.
And that's why you pick these single target physical DPS heroes against the Anti-Mage. But I definitely believe this is a little bit of sloppiness coming out from Elements as well, something I mentioned in my analysis of the draft, so maybe it'll actually be the reason they end up losing this game. He still didn't have his BKB delivered, by the way. I think he has a full SNY on top of it, unless he decided to go for the blink.
Yeah, the courier's coming out.
Gets delivered here. Yep, full SNY. Oh, use the mango, dude. Okay.
That would be awkward.
Yeah, he has no TP on him, though, so that is very relevant. Anti-Mage only now respawning, though, so even though top lane's pushed in, there is no threat there. And they get the toss out.
Yeah, that's DNZ in trouble, or Craig could help a little bit. Skitter now getting stunned up as well with the double stun of Sand King. The Soulbind on top, and possibly BKB, though, pops the ultimate, turns on his Sven, and now he's going after Borinaya on Monkey King. Wukong's is down. Okay, there's the ultimate man up, actually. You see the life still kicking in. The mischief coming into play, trying to run out of that Wukong's. Again, you see well, that's, I believe, Rubik right there with the Chain Frost bouncing around. Or no, that doesn't make sense. Anyways, Chain Frost bouncing, and eventually they're going to kill Anti-Mage. 70 seconds. He is dead for. Mitch is able to finish off Troll, though, as he was trying to run away. RMN just puts a frost shot on himself, says, if I'm going down, you're going down with me, buddy. Inkswell eventually going to go off here and trying to go by. Yes, so many players are so low on life. Eventually, Brewmaster goes down, and now we have a 2 versus 1. 9 with the Pearl Strike steal. He uses it, get the triple kill in the end, and then he blinks away to finally finish this fight. Wow, another just crazy duel, but Team Spirit, again, net worth-wise, they come out on top.
Super important that they kill the troll, though, just because there's no objectives that are going to be taken. Of course, the net worth has seeped all the way down to 3,000 in favor of Elements. It's one of these games where they are now in one mistake to throw territory. Like, they've now thrown enough that the game is throwable, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
The next mistake will be a seriously costly one for them. The next, like, team fight or crucial pickoff will kind of decide who gets Roche, because the map control is kind of even right now since everyone kind of just died and everyone's respawning and resetting. So whoever gets the next crucial pickoff will have complete map control, which will lead to Roche, and I think that will be a heavy decider in this game. I think his age is timed out like pretty close to when he died there on Troll.
Oh, yeah, good point, actually. It must have. So, but big picture, again, Spirit still coming out on top, and I believe I just saw the axe purchased by Rubik. It was on the courier, so yeah, he just delivered it. So as I mentioned earlier, I mean, honestly, this is one of those games where there's so much to steal, and hell, you steal that Burrow Strike, obviously that much more value out of it now that you get. So something to look forward to.
I did, by the way, see that you do not do the zip zap. You just do the zip.
Okay.
Zap on the
zip on two.
tanking Burrow plus grip stroke. You get both stunned, but you don't move to the second guy.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's what I thought. So thanks for clarifying.
Yeah, just humble brag on your part there, I guess. You know, humble flex.
I knew it all along. I just want to give you the chance.
Yeah, thank you.
Check it out for yourself. Top lane, it's going to be pushed in with the tier 2 tower. That's the last outer tower remaining that Team Spirit will easily do. EPG, you know that they're feeling it. I mean, that's essentially 3 fights in a row that just have not gone their way. So even though they still have that slight net worth lead and Anti-Mage is farming like a boss, the mental state has to be hurting right now for EPG.
Yeah, absolutely. Anti-Mage is not forcing any objectives right now. He's not threatening anything. They've already cut mid-wave on the side of Team Spirit. Anti-Mage is just cutting waves himself, but they should be able to deter this push. They're just going to have to wait till Roche. I don't think Troll can really reliably fight this game until Aegis, just because of the virtue of the burst damage and heavy commitment lineup from Elements that he needs to be able to live through that initial initiation.
It's going to be a longer Roshan. I want to say at least 2 more minutes. It's definitely one of the more longer Roshans and respawns you can have. So I suppose a little bit unfortunate news there for your Team Spirit. And chance for APG to kind of push out now and make some space for themselves at least. Is that 4,100 gold saved up on Monkey King, by the way? So I think he had the Heaven's Halberd queued up.
I would like to see a Scotty personally. I think it makes Troll's game really hard to play. It's also really good against Tiny. I think you just have to enable your Anti-Mage by building whatever items you build. And I think, oddly enough, to enable your Anti-Mage this game, I think you just need to make it harder for Troll to play the game. So Halberd would be fine too. I just think that in the fights, your ultimate's a big part of your kit for what you want to be doing here. And I like Scotty a lot, but either one would be fine.
Smoke play.
Abyssal on Anti-Mage is complete. And he's running bottom, actually. I don't like this at all. I think he should be with his team during the smoke. I think he should be the forefront of this initiation. Be here right when the fight starts, but he's choosing to split push bottom instead. May get a pick off on Lich if Lich decides to walk up.
Especially just getting that Abyssal, as you mentioned. DNZ is going to run into a bit of a death trap. Soulblind, the double silence, but that's not going to save Sven. He goes down, however. Troll getting low himself. Wukong's coming out, and Anti-Mage does join the fight at the back. The Mana Void kills Rubik off the bat. They're going to lose Sanking, though. He buys back immediately. Skidder. The ultimate's going to be wearing off in a second with a life. Still Anti-Mage thrown up in the air with the Yules. Eventually going to come back down. Primal split more so. Being tossed up, and there's a second one. So double buyback both on Grimstroke and Sand King. It allows for Troll to get away. Brew's dead because of it, but obviously he did his job.
Roche is up. If they know this on Team Spirit, they have to buy back. You can't play this game with Anti-Mage having Aegis and Troll not having it. But it looks like they're not 100% sure that it's up. They're willing to give it up, so buyback's proving to be worth it on the side of Elements. This Roche is more important than anything. I think it 100% decides what carry hero is happy to fight here based on who has Aegis. Troll solely relies on bursting the Anti-Mage. So Anti-Mage with a second life is pretty much undealable with. And Troll also relies on living through the initial burst. So very important Aegis this game. And it goes to Swift Ending on the Anti-Mage, so he can play very aggressively in fights. No fear of the Troll since he has that Aegis. And Troll does not feel comfortable committing on him now. So it just changes the entire dynamic of this matchup.
And more time means more farm for Monkey King as well. So much focus on Anti-Mage, but I believe it's all Butterfly now in the works for this Monkey King. So especially when he lays down that Wukong, he is going to be dishing out plenty of damage, and something that Spirit's going to have to respect that much more in these fights. But yeah, we also saw the last fight. It seemed like Anti-Mage, his focus fire is going to be that Rubik. This core Rubik in the fight. Just go right for him, set up a mana void, kill him off the bat.
Yeah, very low armor, very high mana pool. So the mana break does a ton of damage, and also obviously the mana void itself is a great finisher against the Rubik. And since you have that Abyssal, you can probably kill him in that Abyssal duration. All he has is reactionary survivability items. He has the Yule Scepter, the Ghost Scepter, all these items that are meant to keep him alive, but he has to be able to push buttons in order to live.
Yeah. Troll.
Working on that MKB, it looks like.
I'm guessing that over the Rapier.
No balls.
Safe play, safe play. All right, MKB picked up. There's the BKB from Anti-Mage, though. An immediate response. Not necessarily a response to that, but you get the point. Good item to have nonetheless. Rubik doesn't have anything stolen currently, but is level 21, and obviously with the Yags blink and saw the Ghost Scepter on him too. Good against MK specifically. So the slow game of obviously Team Spirit, they're kind of waiting to see what happens, because now they're going up against the Aegis and Cheese. They can't play over aggressive themselves because of that. I'm going to really just sit back.
They pretty much have to surrender the map to the elements because of that. They just have to wait till elements make a move and hopefully have a good response.
Right now, they're slowly moving out. I mean, Monkey King's pushing out the bottom. You have Anti-Mage blinking in aggressively to the Dire Jungle over there, but going to farm up the jungle camps. Eventually, you'd figure Spirit is going to run into them, but there are some outside objectives. Still that mid and bottom tier 2 remain. Although mid lane, Inkswell, he's going in. They get the free jump on RMN. That's going to explode the Lich. No chance of him surviving. He's staying dead. Lift up on a Swift Ending. Here comes Skidder. They're going for the focus fire. The ultimate gets a bash proc thrown in there as well. As Swift Ending is able to blink with the last second. He's going forward. Counterspell going up. He's running after Rubik this whole time. Is he able to finish him off? Skidder meanwhile picks out the Sven. He's keeping his distance though, as BKB of course has worn off as well. Swift Ending thinking about if he wants to go back in or not. Remember, he has the Aegis. Choosing not to. 1 for 1. That's all that was.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Gonna get the tier 2 tower on top of it. And maybe somebody off to the side. Skidder was over there. Monkey King trying to catch up to him. It looks like somebody might have. Swift Ending does eventually get there. Abyssal Blade put down. And there's another Wukong's coming out, but just hit them with a Burrow Strike. I think he's outside of the Wukongs. A counter Wukongs from Rubik is not gonna matter though, and Troll's dead for 90 seconds. He ain't coming back. Monkey King pops the BKB. That's so much damage they're missing, of course. Probably too much damage they're missing. As Brewmaster said as well, the Boundless Strike cuts through, and Lich goes down. Buyback from Rubik as soon as he gets killed right there. The Chain Frost bouncing around. Swift Ending is going to fall, but he's like, you know what? I'm fine. Full life, full mana sounds pretty good.
And now he has level 25 talent on Anti-Mage, so the only hero that actually threatens him is the Troll, who is dead. So they have absolutely no damage for this Anti-Mage. He is unkillable.
Troll buying out that MKB. Does not have a buyback. And that could be, I don't want to say 100% game just yet, but it's definitely going to be mid-racks. It's just a matter of what more.
I appreciate the side of EBG for making this game more interesting than it had to be. But looks like it's going to be the inevitable result regardless. Banding together after a couple unnecessary throws on the side of EPG. But turns out not even, looks like not even I could throw this game from the Anti-Mage's perspective.
That's going to be a top lane push easily. Rubik dead for 90. Obviously you still have 15 on Troll before he's back up. So yeah, they don't want it to be so. Team Spirit, $100,000 tournament. This is tournament lives on the line, but it looks like it's going to be that way. EPG going cutthroat now. They kill the Lich. Biber's like, please leave me alone. He'll be fine. And Troll is back up now. So did they overextend, Mitch? Get rooted up at least. Another rolling axes, and here goes the Anti-Mage and Pistol Blade. It pops the BKB because of the Avalanche stunning him. Skitter has to run back to the fountain. He doesn't have mana for his ultimate. It doesn't matter, though. Mana Void's not enough damage for the kill. So he will survive. So I think Spirit is going to delay this enough to at least stay into the game. As Borinaya, okay, he pops a Wukong. So he was getting low, but he's going to turn this around. Skitter again in the midst of it. Pops his own ultimate to stay alive. If anything, go for the turn kill on Monkey King first. It's not going to be enough. He goes down. And now you think that's going to do it. GG is called. It will be official. Elements Pro Gaming going on to the next round, quarterfinal, where their victory is, well, you get to now play NIP in the next round. But hey, you won, you get a chance as far as moving on.
I honestly thought going into the series after seeing the first game, even though it was Elements Pro Gaming that won, I thought Team Spirit looked like the overall more solid team. And I'd say both teams had their fair share of little slip-ups here and there. But proves to be that Elements took the whole series. That's surprising to me. I thought the draft was, like, the Troll matchup against Anti-Mage is always very good. But they are able to secure such a good start for him and slow down the momentum of this Troll. And honestly, just the random deaths by 9, I think, were a big cost in this whole series. I've mentioned it time and time again. But overall, good series. It was exciting and fun to watch. And look forward to seeing more of Elements Pro Gaming as we move on.
Yeah, it's only want to go 3 games. They're definitely deserving and worthy of it. But EPG advancing on, like I said, that gets them a match now with NIP. And that'll be tomorrow. One of the matches tomorrow. One of yet another day of 3 best-of-3s. That'll be taking place. In fact, on that note, a quick schedule for you guys as we are wrapping up today now. We got tomorrow's matches. First one, we're going to kick it off with Gambit versus Pavaga. That's actually still a first round. That's the last first round matchup that we have to get through. Then we jump into this EPG team taking on NIP. And then Pavaga Gambit winner will play Forward Gaming in the final series. So for one of those 2 teams, it's actually going to be a busier day as they're ultimately going to play 2 best-of-3s in these playoffs here. But obviously we're going to start getting into those invited teams now, the quarterfinals. You had OG Alliance, Forward, and NIP, the teams that were invited to the event and got right to the quarterfinals as a result. But should make for some more entertaining Dota, no doubt. So those are the matches for tomorrow. 3 best-of-3s once again. It all starts actually, it sounds like it starts about a half an hour to an hour later. So it's at 1500 Central European Time, or that's at 9 a.m. Eastern or 6 a.m. Pacific, if I'm not mistaken there. So BSJ, want to thank you once again for joining, and any shout-outs, any last words before we do officially wrap? Sounds good. All right. GoDz, I don't know if you're still there, but same thing. I'm going to give you the chance if you happen to be. Or is it going to be the awkward silence again? All right, awkward silence it is. All right, cool. Everyone left me. Draskyl, I know he left me earlier, but he'll be back tomorrow as well. So I guess I'm going to wrap it up officially. Thank you guys for tuning in. You can follow me at BreakyCPK, BSJ, GoDz, and Draskyl. I don't know their Twitters off the top of my head, but you know what they are. You can find them. And we look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow here for the WePlay Winter Madness. It's been a fun event so far from the group stages. Now the playoffs. We're here. Matches continuing to get better and better as we move on. This really is a fun patch to watch right now and a fun patch to cast amongst that. So I want to thank you guys again for tuning in. Hopefully you found it entertaining. We could at least help with that. So we'll see you guys tomorrow to kick it all off. Gambit versus Pavaga. We'll start off our first of 3 best-of-3s again at 1500 Central European Time. Have a good night, guys. Until next time, we'll see you then.